having a hard time finding an art activity that you know your young child can successfully complete? I know it can be difficult since most videos are geared toward upper elementary age children. I'm giving you a free watercolor painting lesson on warm and cool colors that any child of the age of 4 or older can complete, giving parents a little break. Hi, this is the Art Barn Studio, an art YouTube channel by an art educator where your kids can safely express themselves creatively. Hi, my name is Brandon Lawson. I've been teaching elementary art since 2009, but students of all ages are welcome here. At the Art Barn Studio YouTube channel, I can share my passion for drawing, painting, and creating with you and your family in the comfort of your home and at your own pace and in your pajamas. If you haven't taken a minute to subscribe, remember to hit that button so you can never miss any of the new art activities posted right here. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook. Stop by, say hello, like, comment on all the awesome things happening in my art world. If you're interested in original paintings, digital downloads, or other unique pieces, check out BrandonLawsonArt.com. We are going to talk about color, one of my favorite parts of art. What is your favorite color? Do you have one or two? Or are you like me? I like them all. I usually just depends on what day it is, but it changes every day depending on the day. But a consistent favorite color of mine is pink. All the shades of pink. Now we're going to take color and divide them into two categories, warm and cool colors. Knowing which ones are warm and cool colors allows us to know what colors we can mix together to make new colors or make mud. Now mud is fun to play with most of the time, but we don't want it on our art. If you mix a warm and a cool, you get the color mud, which is like a brown or gray. Our goal today is to see all the colors, not a brown or gray color. Let's talk about warm. The warm colors of the rainbow that are warm are red, yellow, and orange. Here's a tip to help you remember these three colors when you think of warm. Think of a warm fire or the warm sun. What colors would you use to draw the warm fire or sun? I would use orange, yellow, and red, and orange and yellow for the sun. So to remember the warm colors, think of the warm fire and the sun, which are red, yellow, and orange. But what about pink? Well, pink is a shade of red when you mix some white with it. So technically it is a warm color also. Now, let's move on to the cool colors. Cool colors are blue, green, and purple. Here's a little tip to remember the cool colors. When you think of cool, think of the cool ocean or lake, or the cool grass, or the colorful cool sky. When I color the ocean or a lake, I use blue. When I color the grass, I use green. When I color cool sky, I use blues and purples. So remember the cool colors, you have to think of a cool ocean or a lake, the cool green grass, or the cool blue and purple sky. Now, if you heard me say shades of the color, let's talk about shades. Shades just means the lightness to the darkness of a color. For example, light blue, blue, dark blue. Light red, pink, red, dark red. Light green, green, dark green. Each color has many shades. And if you think about a pack of markers or crowns, when you go and there are more than 8, in those boxes, you would see tons of shades of color. So next time you're at the store, run over to the craft section. So when you get a large box, usually it's filled with many shades. When you put all of the warm and cool colors together, it creates a wheel or circle. We call this the color wheel. The color wheel gives us lots of information. It organizes cool and warm. It tells us what colors to mix to make new ones. And it also tells what other colors work well together. We'll learn more about the color wheel in the other videos of our color study. Remember, the power of YouTube is getting to share a lesson with you in your house. But remember, I can't see you. I can't hear you. So if you are getting frustrated and how fast I'm moving, just remember you have the power to freeze me by hitting the pause button. Take some time to catch up where I'm at. It's that easy. Now, if you find yourself getting flustered or overwhelmed, hit the pause button. Put down your brush. Take a step back. Go for a short walk. Listen to a song. Get a drink. Get a snack. Just go take a break. It can be 10 minutes long. It can be an hour long. Remember, I'm going to be back here right where you left me. So it's better to go take a break than to give up completely. And trust me, I've been where you are. I still do get frustrated when I'm trying something new. It's okay to get frustrated. Now, let's talk about materials and what you need to paint with me today. Okay, we are going to be creating the color study paintings. So what I have is I have a few 4x6 watercolor paper, and I actually just took a 11 by 15 and cut it down to 4x6. You need to have 4. 4 is what you want. I always have extra just in case we have any mess ups. So we're going to use that. I have, it's just Walmart brand watercolors is what I'm using. Nothing fancy. And then we have water and a brush. I'm choosing to have a flat brush, a larger one, just because if for little ones you want to have a bigger brush, you won't have to paint as much. So I'm going to get this over there. I'm going to put my first one, depending on how you want to frame them. If you want your child to paint vertically, going across, or horizontally. So you just kind of have to figure out how you would want them. You're going to frame them as a group of 4. So technically in your frame, if you want to, again, you can make these into cards, postcards, but you could frame them like this with your color study in your frame, or you could do it obviously horizontal in your frame. So just depending on how you want it to be displayed will depend on how you are going to paint it. Now, we discussed cool and warm colors, and actually our palette is kind of set up with our warms and then our cools. So your pinks, reds, oranges, yellows are your warms. Your purple, blues, and greens are your cools. If you do not want your child to use your browns and blacks, one thing you can do, take some tape. It doesn't have to be packing tape, whatever tape, and put a piece of tape over them. It'd be better if it was like painter's tape so you don't see them. But just put something over them, a piece of paper, tape it up so they can't use those colors. Because I will warn you, sometimes when you have black, the children tend to use black. And also, if you want it to use, if you're trying to teach your child and maybe they're pre-K and you want them to just use your warm, then I would tape all of them up and leave your warm open. And then when you're ready to switch, again, switch it. Open up your cools and cover up your warms. So that just helps prevent from you mixing, because if they do mix the warm and the cool on the same paper, it tends to turn to mud. So you want to prevent that. I know Crayola, their brand of watercolors, you can actually pop out each one of these. So you could pop out the warm or pop out the cool, and then they're not tempted to use any of the colors you don't want them. So we're going to use a wet on wet technique. What that means, we're going to take our paper, clean brush, clean water. Again, you want it to be clean. And I'm going to just add water. I'm not going to paint the whole thing. It's maybe a little bit of half. So I'm going to start with my warms. And because I have more options than normal, and you kind of take your wet, and we have to wake up the paint. So if once you get your water, wake it up. And it really depends on the
type of paints, how much. Again, if your paint is a little bit cheaper, it won't be as vibrant. Again, like I said, these are Walmart craft section brands. So, and then I'm just moving in order of my paint, so it kind of slowly changes colors, but you just kind of have to keep wetting water and waking up the paints. And if you have a Crayola or a praying set, obviously you're not going to have as many options as these colors. So this is one of the warms. So I just went light from dark. I'm going to move that off to the side. And again, you can see my table's a little messy, so you may want to be aware of that. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to try to start with the darker colors. And this is not wet on wet. I just took a wet brush and painted. And maybe you only want to do pinks. These are cool, are very important as you become more experienced. So that way I just stayed with pinks. Again, it's still your warms. Okay, so I've done 2 with my warms, and now I'm going to wipe up my area just because I'm going to use my cool, which are my blues and greens and purples. Again, just waking up the paint, going across my paper. Okay, so I did a cool, I'm going to do another cool. And again, if you notice your child starts doing this and the paint is not coming off, just remind them to get more water. So, going back, get a little more water. Okay, so be careful when you pick up your paints, never tilt them because they've got water on top of them, so I always like to close them so you can see. And they do tend to curl up in my papers. So you could do frame 2 of the warms or a cool and a warm, or do all 4 across. So it would be up to you how you frame them, but it's a great way to get your young one painting and learn them how to teach them how to use the water, the brush, how to wipe it off the side without tapping it, how to wake up our paints, how to know the difference of your cool and warm, and just controlling your paintbrush. So this is the first part of our color study with our cool and warm colors.
Thanks for joining the Art Barn Studio, and take a minute. Let me know how you liked this project today. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed painting today's project. If you would like to learn more about color, be sure to subscribe to my email list. The link is below. To find out how to purchase more videos just like this that teach and guide you through an art project.